Jennifer Pan was a young woman from Canada who planned and executed the murder of her parents, Han and Beach Pan, in 2010. The case made headlines across the world as the brutal killings shocked the public and raised questions about the pressures and expectations placed on immigrant families in Canada. Background: Jennifer Pan was born in 1986 in Canada to immigrant parents from Vietnam. Her father, Han Pan, was a successful engineer and entrepreneur, and her mother, Beach Pan, was a nurse. Jennifer was an accomplished figure skater and pianist, but struggled with meeting her parents' high academic expectations. She attended the University of Toronto, but failed several courses and dropped out of school without telling her parents. Lies and deceit. To avoid her parents' disappointment, Jennifer began lying about her academic progress, telling her parents that she was still attending classes and doing well. She even forged report cards and letters from professors to maintain the illusion of success. She also began secretly dating a man named Daniel Wong, who her parents disapproved of because he was not Vietnamese and did not have a university degree. Planning the murder. As Jennifer's lies became more and more elaborate, she began to feel trapped and desperate. She believed that her parents would never accept her relationship with Daniel or forgive her for lying about her education. In 2010, Jennifer, along with her ex-boyfriend and 2 other accomplices, began to plan the murder of her parents. She paid them $10,000 to carry out the killing and promised them an additional $100,000 once her parents' assets were divided. The crime. On November 8, 2010, the 2 killers broke into the Pan family home in Markham, Ontario, armed with guns and a taser. They tied up Han and Bitch Pan and demanded money and valuables. When Han refused to cooperate, one of the attackers shot him in the head. Beach was also shot and died from her injuries a few days later in the hospital. Investigation and trial. The investigation into the Pan murders was extensive, with police conducting interviews with witnesses and surveillance footage analysis. The police became suspicious of Jennifer's story, as they noticed inconsistencies in her account of the night of the murder. However, without evidence to support their suspicions, they could not arrest Jennifer. Then, as fate would have it, Jennifer's father, Han Pan, awoke from his coma. Authorities were notified of Mr. Pan's consciousness and made their way to the hospital to question Mr. Pan. What they learned was chilling. Mr. Pan told the detectives that Jennifer was in fact never tied to the banister. Jennifer's father also recalled that while his wife laid dying on the floor and he was fading in and out of consciousness, he saw Jennifer unbound and cordially talking with the shooter. In 2014, Jennifer, along with her ex-boyfriend and 2 accomplices, was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole for 25 years. During the trial, Jennifer testified that she had only intended to scare her parents and had not wanted them to be killed. However, the jury did not believe her testimony and found her guilty of planning and orchestrating the murder. Conclusion. The Jennifer Pan case is a tragic example of the extreme lengths some individuals will go to in order to avoid disappointing their families. Jennifer's actions, driven by a combination of fear, desperation, and misguided love, ultimately led to the brutal murder of her parents. While there is no excuse for such a heinous crime, the case raises important questions about the pressures and expectations placed on immigrant families and the consequences of failing to meet those expectations.